straightforward. We'll walk to the things we have done in the previous lecture, right? We were talking on the topic of theory of production, right? Let me first start the recording.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we were talking on the theory of production in the previous lecture, and we laid the foundation to discuss on the theory of production, and we have completed the short-term production. I'll quickly run into the things that we have discussed in the theory of production in the short run, right? So at the very beginning, we identify the concept of production, right? The concept of production and why identifying the theories related to the production is that much important to the managers or to the decision makers. Why do we need to identify the production concept? That is the thing we discuss at the very beginning, right? As you are the potential decision makers in the business context, and also as you are the decision makers which we can see in the near future, you need to have a knowledge on the production theory in order to make strong decisions which will be feasible for the entire organization or the entire society, right? You may think that since you have some other plans, right? You may think that you have a plan to work in HR field, right? HR, or else in finance. In finance, you may have a plan to work to be an accountant, right? Or work in HR field, right? Or in what we call procurement, right? Likewise, you may have some other plans with having a bachelor's in business management. You are going to be expertising HR, right? Your ultimate target is to be an HR specialist, or otherwise you may have plans to work as in a IT company as a system developer, or as a IT system developer, or software engineer, or a data analyst, or what we called program developer, right? Likewise, you may have some other plans, but students, you need to have a thorough knowledge on each of these fields. For an example, think that you are working in a HR field, right? HR, you are working as a, we'll think as a HR executive, right? So if you work as a HR executive, you need to have a knowledge on production details of the company, and you need to help them to make decisions, right? There are a number of employees in the production category, right? So once you make decisions related to the production category, you need to have a sound knowledge on the production also, right? Not having a or only having a knowledge on HR field is not enough. You need to have a knowledge on the production side also. That is because you identify the company is in a short run period, right? So company is beginning a new section, right? So currently the section is running under a short run period. So how many employees do you need to employ or need to recruit, right? So once the section is established well, you're planning to, or your managing director or the chairman is planning to uplift the section into what? Section into long run, right? Your chairman is planning to buy some more capital. So then how your employment base or employee base should change, that need to be addressed. So you need to have a knowledge on the theories of production. So likewise, in each and every field, need to have a knowledge on the theories of production, right? So that it is very much important to know on the theory of production, since you are going to enter into the business context. So students, if you have any inconvenience on my voice or things I am sharing, please raise your hand, right? There is option in the reactions. Please raise your hand and let me know, or drop it into the chat box. Right? So that is the thing, that is the basement that we put to discuss the theory of production. And we identified as production as a function of capital and labor, right? Capital and labor. In the place where there are two inputs, such as variable input and fixed input, right? It is a function of variable input and fixed input. So by basing on this variable and fixed input, we identified the production function into two periods, that is short run production and long run production. In short run production, we identified that the capital is fixed and production is a function of labor, right? We discussed this. And in the long run, we identified that both capital and labor are variable. That means there are no fixed inputs in the long run. We identified both capital and labor, that is that we used as variable and fixed input in the short run, became as variable inputs in the long run. And furthermore to this, there are some other concepts also as very long run, right? In there, the technology that we are using to mix these two components together, we assume that in short run and long run, it is not changing. Technology is not changing, but in very long run, technology is also changing. So to your course unit, it is not included, and just have a simple thing in the mind that in very long run, technology is also changing, right? So after that, we went to identify three concepts such as total production, average production, marginal production, right? In there, we identified when we mixing this fixed factor with different variable units of labor, we take different levels of outputs. That is what is meant by the total production in short run, right? First we are talking in short run. In there, we identified the short run production function in a graph similar to this, right? Then we came to talk on the concept of average production. In average production, we take the output per a unit. That means when the total production of labor, that means in short run, we identify that labor is the component that decides the level of output, right? So in average production, we identify it is the proportional difference between total production and labor units. So output per unit is denoted as average production, and marginal production is the incremental change that we took when increasing 1 unit of labor. How much total production is changing when we increase 1 unit of labor. Sorry, that is the thing that we discussed in the marginal production. So we identified to come up these 3 graphs, and we try to identify the different types of stages of production. Right? This is total production graph. This is average production. Right? This is marginal production. So we identify 3 level of stages in there. Right? 3 level of stages in there. We identified this is the first level. This is the second level. This is the third level. So we discussed different characteristics in these different types of stages. And in the first level, the total production is increasing in an increasing rate, right? This should be like in here, right, Lamar? Don't think about my drawings because I'm not good at drawings, right? In the first stage, the total production is increasing in an increasing rate. In there, we identified marginal production line lies above the average production, right? So it meant that the marginal level or mixing of labor with 1 unit creates more output than the average production, right? So we identified that there is a potential capacity to increase the level of output in the second stage than the first stage. Though the increasing rate is decreasing, the potential output is increasing, right? So that we identified second level of stage is the best level of stage to produce, to maintain the production. In the point of TP or the MP is 0 or the slope of the total production is 0, or in the point, or else in the point where total production curve goes down, we identified MP as 0, and we identified it eventually declines. Total production eventually declines, and marginal production is also negative value. That means when we increasing more labor in there, the total production will goes down, and marginal production, the amount of production generated by the increasement of another labor unit, becomes a negative value, right? So those are the three stages that we discussed, and we discussed the concept of law of diminishing marginal unit, diminishing marginal or else diminishing marginal returns, diminishing law of diminishing marginal returns by basing on this graph. That means when we increase in the variable output in short run, eventually it inclines, but it declines at a certain point, and it only happens in the short run, right? Then we identified how to make, right, or how to identify the optimum use of labor in short run, right? So in there we identified wage is the amount that right, wage is the amount that we pay in order to buy a excess unit of labor, and MPL, marginal productivity of labor, is the amount that is generated by that, right, Lamai? Then we identified there is a problem in order to simplify this, or to compare these two, because one side is with the units and other side is with the rupees value. So we multiply this by P. Ultimately, we identify that wage is the marginal resource cost of labor, and in the point where it equals marginal revenue product of labor, we identified the optimum use of labor is obtaining, right? So we identify this as the MRC, right? MRC, marginal revenue resource cost of labor, and we identify this as the MRP, right? In the point where it touches or crosses or intercepts MRC, we identify optimum use of labor. So this is a quick lookup at the product or at the short run production, right? Today we are ready to talk on the topic of long run, right? I think it is very much clear up to now, right? I did just a quick recap in order to make things clear for you, right? I think you may have a small note on this also, if it will be much more benefited for you, right? Right. So students, short run is a little similar to a concept that we have talked up to now. Can anyone identify what concept, right? we identified a concept in the theory of consumer behavior, right? We identified different theories to discuss the consumer behavior. Short run shows some similar characteristics to a theory in the consumer behavior. Can anyone tell? I'll just give some few seconds. Can anyone tell what theory shows the similar characteristics to the short run production? Can anyone? Tell me.
An approach.
Yes. Very good. Exactly, yes. Short run shows some similar characteristics to the cardinal approach, right? And in the meantime, long run shows some similar characteristics on the ordinal approach, right? In the cardinal approach, we identified the place where two sides are equal makes the optimum use for the consumer. In short run also, we identified in the place where the wage is equal to the marginal revenue of product, right? Marginal revenue of production gives the optimum use of labor, right? It is the place where the optimum production level is obtained in the short run, right, Lamai? So likewise, in the long run, right? Long run, we also identified the characteristics of the ordinal approach. Can anyone remember? We drew a budget line. We drew a indifference curve, right? We in budget line we talk on the uh, income level of a consumer. In indifference curve, the utility, right? In the place, right? In the utility, the thing that we show is the expenditure level, right? So in the place where these two met, we identified the optimum consumption rate is occurred or obtained, right? Likewise, in long run also, we identified two different curves, which is known as isocont and isocost. And we identified the place where those two are met gives you the least cost production, which will give a maximum output, right? We'll step by step talk and we'll complete it by today's session, right, Lama? So in the very beginning, tell me what is meant by long run production. Anyone? What is meant by long run production? Anyone, Lamai? What is meant by long run production? A simple question, right? We have something in the chat box. We'll see. All input changes. Yes, good start for the answer. Any other? Any other answers?
I don't know.
All inputs are variable. Yes. Anything else? Used variable inputs only. Yes. Capital and label, both variable. Yes. Some other? Okay. In the long run, Lamai, long run is the period where all the inputs are variable inputs. That means we identified two different types of variables, right? Two different types of variables as capital and labor. In long run, both capital and labor are variable inputs are changing, right? So we can identify long run production as a function of capital and labor. In the short run, it is only a production of labor or a function of labor, right? Since the capital input is fixed under a certain capital unit or fixed capital input, we varied our variable input in the short run. But in long run, we can vary both capital and labor. Right, Lamai? So in in long run, right, the long run production function can be named as isocont. A special term is used as isocont, right? So what is meaning by iso and what is meaning by cont? These are two Latin words, right? Can anyone tell what is meaning by iso? Anyone? Iso shows the word same, right? Cont mean that quantity, right? So students, the output levels which shows the same quantity is meaning by isocont, right? So isocont is a curve that shows different levels of output, right? Or else different levels of capital and labor, which gives the same output, right? That is what is meaning by isocont curve. Different composition of labors or different compositions of labor and capital, which gives the same level of output. I'll draw a isocont for you, right? Uh, right? I think you are working with me, right? That is the way, that is the only way that you can get this concepts, right? We have about 80 participants. I think you are working with me, right? Right. This is your isocon curve, or else you can tell that this is Q, right? This is your isocon curve. In this axis, we shows the level of capital. In this axis, we shows the level of labor. Right, Lama? So mixing different levels of capital and labor, and once you mix different types of capital and labor, right, you may receive different types of or the same level of output. In different types of labor and capital units, you obtain same level of output in here. So it is shown by the isocon curve. Right? We can denote this as K1, right? This is as K2. This as K3. This is as L1. So it consumes time, am I right? Because drawing in whiteboard is not easy as drawing in the physical classroom. That is the problem that we have since in this virtual mode. Right. Under K1 and L1, capital and labor units, you obtain A units of labor, A units of production. Under K2 and L2, you obtain B units of labor. Under L1 and L3 and K3, you obtain C level of units. C level of units. So this shows same output level, am I right? In ABC, all three same output levels, but the amount of capital and the labor is changed. Right? See in here, right? So see that K1 to K2, right? To travel between from A to B, we have to sacrifice K1 to K2 amount, and we need to increase the labor units. So Lamai, the thing that you need to identify is that this talked or this discussed about different types of techniques that we can use for the production. Is it a capital intensive technique, right? Or else do we using labor intensive technique, or otherwise do we use more capital than the labor, or more capital based technique for the production, or do we use more labor based technique for the production? That is the thing that we discuss in the long run, right, Lama? So once we travel from A to B, we need to sacrifice. A sacrifice is done in the capital part, capital in the capital um, capital portion, right? So that by increasing labor instead of this sacrifice capital, we can obtain a same level of output also, right? So in the place where these all points are drawn in a single line, we identify that as isocont curve. It shows the same output level which is generated by different compositions of inputs, right? So once the to increase the labor, the producer should sacrifice the capital, right? I think you got the point, right, Lamai? So by basing on this, we'll come up to the PowerPoint presentation that we have generated. I think you can see it, right? Is it? Is it, Lamai? Is it? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we discuss on the theory of production in long run, right? First, by basing on the foundation that we have laid, we'll see what things we have to discuss in this session, right? We already discussed the introduction now, and we are on the point of talking isocons, right? Isocons. I draw you the meaning of isocon, right? What is meaning by isocon? In different levels of input combinations, what level of output or obtaining the same level of output by different levels of inputs is the meaning of the isocons. And marginal rate of technical substitution, MRTS, right? The amount that you substitute to a one technique from another technique, right, Lamai? You can get the idea by these four words, right? First, take the technical substitution word, right? Technical substitution. We discussed about two techniques. What are the techniques? Capital and labor, right? From these two techniques, right? When we substitute right? Or when we increase one technique, what amount from other technique do we need to sacrifice in terms of marginal rates, right? Not the total amount, the marginal amount, right? In these two techniques, when we substituting one technique to another, what amount of marginal rate it differs, not the total amount, right? එක ටෙක්නික් එකකින් තව ටෙක්නික් එකක් කැප කරත් නැත්නම් එක ටෙක්නික් එකක් වැඩිපුර පාවිච්චි කරත් අනිත් ටෙක්නික් එකෙන් වැය කළ යුතු ප්‍රමාණය ආන්තික විදියට වැය කළ යුතු ප්‍රමාණය තමයි අපි marginal rate of technical substitution කියලා කතා කරන්නේ. Right? We'll discuss it in the further on the latter part of the session. And we going to identify isocost. Isocost means with a given cost level, right? When a cost level is available, what level of outputs do you can obtain from different goods, right? Think that you have 1,000 rupee cost, right? You have only 1,000 rupees to spend. So how many inputs you are going to get from Q, and how many inputs QX and QY, right? This was the thing that we discussed in the consumer equilibrium or theory of consumer. In here, isocost means the amount of labor we can obtain and amount of capital that we can obtain by the given cost. ප්‍රාග්ධනයේ මිල සහ labor ශ්‍රමයේ මිල මත දීලා තියෙන cost එකක් යටතේ අපිට available මුදලක් යටතේ K වලින් කොච්චරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද, L වලින් කොච්චරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද, K වලින් කොච්චරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද. මෙන්න මේක තමයි අපි discuss කරන්නේ isocost වල. And we are going to identify the producer equilibrium, right Lama? By basing on isocont and isocost. We drew a isocost curve. This is the isocost curve, C. This is the isocont curve. In here, we identified it as a producer equilibrium. So it is really clear, right? Really clear, because this shows the similar characteristics to the ordinal approach, right? We drew a budget line named denoted as I. We drew a indifference curve denoted as IC, and we identified this is as the consumer equilibrium. In here, we drew a cost line by isocost line by basing on the cost that is available for you, and we drew a isocont curve, right, which shows the same level of output by obtaining by basing on different levels of inputs, and in the place it is tangent to the cost curve. We identified producer equilibrium and the production expansion path. Production expansion path means when we increase our output level, right? So think that we have a level of input like this, right? We have a producer equilibrium level like this. So to obtain more output, we can increase our cost. Right? C1, this is C, this is Q, right? To obtain a certain level of production, we have this much of cost, and to increase the level of output, the thing that we need to do is to increase the cost. Right, Lama? Api output level එක වැඩි කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් අපි cost එක වැඩි කරගත යුතුයි. එහෙනම් 1000ක් තිබ්බ එක දැන් අපිට රුපියල් 1500ක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් අපිට මෙන්න මේ කියන K units 4 හිටියේ K units 5ක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම L units 8ක හිටියා L units 9ක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? රුපියල් 1000කට K units 4යි L units 8යි තමයි අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් උනේ. right? For example, think K unit is costing 100 dBs. L unit is costing which means 600 is there. We'll assume that this is as 150, right? And this is as rupees 50. L unit එකක් රුපියල් 50යි K unit එකක් රුපියල් 150යි. එහෙනම් අපිට K units 4ක් ගද්දි රුපියල් 600යි යන්නේ. L units 8ක් ගද්දි රුපියල් 400යි යන්නේ. රුපියල් 1000 ඒ අනුව අපිට බෙදන්න පුළුවන්. right? එතකොට මේ different levels වල අපේ cost එක වෙනස් වෙන විදිය තමයි අපේ ISO cost curve එකකින් පෙන්නන්නේ. ඒත් එක්ක අපිට 1500ක් හම්බ වෙනවා නම් වැඩිපුර රුපියල් 500ක් තමයි හම්බ වෙන්නේ. අපේ මේ proportion එක වැරදි ඇති ළමයි L units ගානයි K units ගානයි to identify theory take it as 5 and 9, right? එහෙනම් අපේ ISO cost curve එක දකුණට විතරනේ අපි මේක හඳුනා ගන්නවා ඊළඟ part එකයි. ඊළඟ parts කතා කරද්දි මේක very much familiar වෙයි. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ ISO cost curve එක දකුණට shift වෙනවා. In the meantime, our production also increasing to Q1. Right? Then we'll assume we have another 500. තව රුපියල් 500ක් අපිට වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන් output level එකත් වැඩි කරද්දී. right? මොකද අපි long run එකක් ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. production එක expansion එකක් ගැන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් අපිට තව output එක අපේ වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. So by drawing the lines together, right? By drawing the points that is tangent to different levels of isocost and isoquant curves, we can draw a line which is known as the production expansion path. This is the simple meaning. We are talking it in the next slides. Right, Lamai? So these are the contents we are talking on the long run production, right? But we have another session to talk on the Cobb-Douglas production function by basing on whether the production function is linear or not, linear or curve. We will discuss in the next session. So for this session, we identify this as the content, right? So we identified the long run production is a function of capital and labor. Students, can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I got a message on that my internet connection is not stable. That's why I checked. Okay. However, the long run production function is a function of capital and labor, as the both capital and labor inputs are variable. Lamai, the most important thing that you need to understand is that I have included some points to discuss my discussion, right? Which gives the meaning of PowerPoint, right? But I discuss many things in the whiteboard and with my words, right? So please, and also by basing on this explanations, right? See in here, there is only words I have put, but I have discussed them with different types of techniques that I can use, right, Lamai? So the most important thing is to identify the way of teaching or delivery, and also to get familiar with it to understand the concept. So I strongly believe that you are making notes and also you are grabbing the concepts, right? So in here, in this one, I discuss many more things, right? In the whiteboard, but it only includes some points to talk or to build on my discussion, right? That is the real meaning of PowerPoint, right? Not including the everything. Take the point that gives you the power to the discussion, right? So by basing on that, we identify long run production as in a isocon curve, right? Or otherwise, we identify that long run production can be denoted in the isocon curves, right? So isocon shows all different combinations of L and K that can be used to produce a given level of output, right? To produce a certain or same level of output, what different combinations of labor and capital that we can use, right, Lamai? For another example, for your convenience, I'll take that take example on my uh, uh, what you called my company. In there, more labor units are taken. Am I right? More laborers are working than the machines. The in the very beginning, the chairman with another two employees. They had only two employees. Am I right? මම අර එදා කතා කරපු කම්පැනි එක ගැන මම උදාහරණයක් ගත්තොත් ඒ කම්පැනි එකේ චෙයාමන් සහ තවත් සේවකයෝ දෙන්නයි කලින් ඉඳලා. right? ඔයාලා දකින්න ඇති බිටුමන් නැත්තම් තාර උණු කරන්න කලින් solid කැටයක් විදියට තමයි එයාලා purchase කරන්නේ. right? ලොකු 10 wheels වල ගෙනල්ලා එක එක තැන් වලින් ගොඩ ගහනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාලගේ purchasing procurement process එකේදී procurement එකෙන් purchase කරාට පස්සේ suppliers ලා නැත්තම් මෙයාලගේ agents ලා ඉන්නවා. agents ලා හරහා වෙනම transportation mode එකක් යොදාගෙන එයාලා ගෙන්න ගන්නවා. ගෙන්නගෙන ගොඩ ගහනවා. right? In the very beginning, before I think in 2006 2016 තමයි ලොකු ඉතිහාසයක් මේ කම්පැනි එකට. 2016 තමයි කම්පැනි sorry 2006 තමයි අවුරුදු 15යි දැන් 15th anniversary එක මේ ළඟදී තිබ්බේ. 2006 තමයි මේක පටන් ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් සභාපතිතුමයි තව සේවකයෝ දෙන්නෙකුයි තමයි ඉඳලා තියෙන්නේ. අර solid කැටේ මං හිතන්නේ කිලෝ 350ක් විතර බරයි. කරේ උඩින් මූඩිය කපලා උණු කරන්න ඕනි. අර උණු කරන්න වෙනම තියනවා ළමයි decanters කියලා. right? ඒවට තමයි උඩ solid කැටේ දැන් solid sorry solid විදියට නෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ solid එක උණු කරලා අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට ඒකට කෙමිකල් මිශ්‍ර කරලා කෙරොසින් කෙමිකල් මිශ්‍ර කරලා අවශ්‍ය හීට් එකෙන් බවුසර් වලට අරක උණු වෙලා වැටුණාට පස්සේ අවශ්‍ය හීට් එකෙන් බවුසර් වලට පම්ප් කරලා තමයි පාරවල් වලට යවන්නේ. පාරවල් වලට තාර ගහන්න යවනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අපි. So Lamai, I'm not well today, right? But however, we need to discuss the sessions now. That's why I take the session. I'm just have a cough and also I'm not well, right? So please excuse me when I'm making some noises other than my words, right? කරේ තියාගෙන තමයි ඒ ඩීකෑන් ඒ කියන්නේ උඩ මෝඩිය කපලා ඒක උණු කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය නිසා අනිත් පැත්තට තමයි හරවන්නේ. මුණින් අතට මෝඩිය යටට හිටින්න නැත්නම් කපපු මෝඩිය යටට හිටින්න තමයි හරවන්නේ ඩීකෑන්ටර්ස් වලට. right? එතකොට ඩීකෑන්ටර් ඊට පස්සේ ඒකේ තියෙන ඩීකෑන්ටර් එකේ තියෙන හීට් එක අනුව උණු වෙලා ඩීකෑන්ට් එකට වැටෙනවා අර ඒත් එක්ක කෙමිකල්ස් මිශ්‍ර කරලා අවශ්‍ය මේ රසායනික සංයෝගයත් එක්ක මික්ස් කරලා තමයි බවුසර් වලට පම්ප් කරලා අදාළ පාරවල් වලට යවන්නේ. නැත්නම් අදාළ ස්ටෝරේජ් කරන තැන් වලට යවන්නේ. right ළමයි එතකොට in the very beginning they have put it by their shoulders, right? About 300 kilograms it is weighting. In the very beginning they put it in with the shoulder, right? Now they have forklifts which can carry about 5 barrels together and to pack a decanter which gives 250 no what you call about 25,000 kilograms, right? To pack a decanter with 25,000 kilograms they only need about 30 minutes. ඉස්සර කරේ අරන් ගියපෙක දැන් forklift වල තමයි අරන් යන්නේ. දැන් කිලෝ 25000ක් විතර එක ඩීකෑන් එකකට ගහනවා එකපාර විනාඩි 20ක් 25ක් තමයි උඩම යන්නේ. right ළමයි එතකොට බලන්න labor component එක දැන් වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙනවා capital component එක. right ඒ නිසා ඔයාලා identify කරගන්න ඕන එක තමයි අපිට output level එකක් achieve කරගන්න different levels of labor and capital can be used. right ළමයි so it is basing on the feasibility or otherwise on the objective that we are putting, right? So isocont shows the same level of output by different levels of inputs, right? So this is also same. Isocont is a curve that shows all the combination of inputs that when used in a technologically efficient will produce a certain level of output. As I mentioned earlier, technological efficient way. What level of technology will give the most efficient way? A curve showing all possible combination of inputs that are capable of producing a certain level of certain quantity of output. Iso means the same, cont means the quantity. The curve that gives the same quantity by basing on different level of inputs is isocont. Right? So we are coming to discuss the properties of isocont. So what are the properties of isocont? The application of this isocont is same as indifference curve. In the indifference curve, lamai, we shows a utility value, right? Utility value by basing on consumer side. In the isocons, show a producer level or output level by basing on output or by basing on producer side. The difference is the consumer and the producer side, but it shows the same level of characteristics, right? So isocons are generally be convex to origin. That means isocon shows a shape like this. That is because because the slope of the isocon curve shows with the MRTS. Like in indifference curve, lamai, you can remember the thing that we identified is that the slope is known as MRS, marginal rate of substitution, right? In here, we identified the slope as MRTS, right? So the isocons or in the indifference curve, the curve is convex to origin because MRES is in a diminishing pattern. That means when we consume more goods from more and more goods, the amount that is generated as the utility eventually declines. Likewise, right? When we compose in one unit to the another, the amount of sacrifice eventually changes. Take this as example. Right? This is 4, this is 2, this is 1. This is 1, 2, 3. Label capital. This is point A, this is point B, this is point C. To travel A to B, what will be your MRTS? MRTS mean delta K divided by delta L, slope of the indifference curve. These are simple things, right? MRTS. Right? So what is the point O to A to B? Right? A to B. Lama, excuse me for a minute, right? What is the amount of delta K that you need to sacrifice, Lamai, to increase the level of labor? Anyone? Tell me.
2, sir.
What is the delta K? Yes?
2.
Yes, 2. Delta L?
1.
1. So value is 2. Right? So B to C, Lamai? B to C. What is the delta K?
1.
Yes, 1. Delta L?
1.
1. In value is 1. So look at this, right? By basing on that, look at this. The
MRTS, right, eventually what happened? Declines. Earlier it is 2, now it is 1. Furthermore, it will in a point like this, right, it will be point value, right? So that we can tell it is always convex to origin because MRTS takes a diminishing pattern. Right, Lamai? And also it is downward sloping, right? Not a upward sloping. To show a certain amount of output or to same level of output to with different combination of inputs, we draw a isocon curve, and it always takes a shape of left to right downwards. Two isocons can never intersect. I think we have discussed these things. You need to have knowledge, right? Because same characteristics as indifference curve, right? See, this is Q, this is Q1, right, Lama? So this is point A, this is point B, this is point C. So as per the rules, A equals B, right? B equals C. No, A equal C, sorry. Right? So that B also need to equal to C as here, but this never happens. Right? So that two isocons can never intersect. And upper isocons, right? Upper isocon represents higher level of output. That means Q1, Q2, Q3. Q3 always higher than Q2 output level. Q1 is less than Q2 output level. So upper isocons more towards the upper level gives you higher level of outputs. Further from the origin represent greater output levels. From the origin, it was here. Further level from the origin, right? It shows greater level of outputs, right? So those are the properties of the isocons. And we are talking on isocon mapping. That means mapping different levels of isocon curves in different points, right? So we can identify different level of output level, and when we show all those isocon curves in a one map, we are calling it as isocon map, right? Under different units of capital and different units of labor, we obtain different levels of isocon curve by basing on different levels of by basing on different levels of outputs, right? So that is what is meaning by isocon map, right? These are same characteristics as we have discussed, right? Isocon map is a set of isocons presented on a two-dimensional plan. Two-dimensional plan means Y and X, capital Y, labor X. Each isocon shows various combination of two inputs that can be used to produce a given level of output. In each level of isocon, the levels of or combinations of these two, capital and labor, is differ, yes, but it shows the same level of output level, right? And MRTS, right? MRTS. We identified the meaning of MRTS. The MRTS, right? We identified what is meaning by MRTS. MRTS means the amount of input that need to be sacrificed, right, by to increase a certain level of other output. The technique that need to be substituted in the aspect of marginal rate for another technique is known as marginal rate of technical substitution. Marginal rate of technical substitution indicate the rate at which factors can be substituted without altering the level of output. In here, the input sacrificing is occur, but the level of output is not changing. Right? It can be denoted as delta K divided by delta L. In other words, marginal productivity of labor divided by marginal productivity of capital. Right? The slope of an isocon is the rate at which a producer can substitute between two inputs and maintain the same level of output. By our wish or by the producer perspective, we substitute one input to another, but this output level is same, right? So MRTS in aspects of labor can be denoted as MPL divided by MPK, marginal productivity of labor divided by marginal productivity of capital. MPL means the delta Q or the amount, right? I have further, you already knew these concepts, right? Marginal productivity and marginal productivity of labor and marginal productivity of capital. You already knew this one, right? Marginal means when we increasing a 1 unit of labor, how many output levels can be achieved, right? When we increasing or when we changing a capital unit, the amount which the production level goes up, right? So delta Q divided by delta L is the marginal productivity of labor, and delta Q divided by delta K is the marginal productivity of capital, right? So there is a simple example in order to identify this in terms of identifying different levels of factor combinations to obtain a same level of output. In A, 1 unit of capital with 12 labor units. In B, 2 units of capital with 8 labor units. In C, 3 levels of capital with 5 labor units. So identify the pattern when we increase in this, right? When we increase in this, labor is decreased. Furthermore, when we increase in this, furthermore, labor is decreasing. right? So to obtain a certain level, we will think 100 units of output, right? 100 units of output. We can find out these level of inputs, right? So pattern is shown in the MRTS, right? MRTS. MRTS of K for L, that means marginal rate of technical substitution in terms of K and L is 4 divided by 1. That means delta or the difference between delta L divided by delta K. In here, delta K divided by delta L. The thing that you need to understand is the term marginal rate of technical substitution. Right? I think up to now, it is clear. Right, Lama? So we need to talk on the diminishing or law of diminishing marginal rate of technical substitution. Right? As I mentioned earlier, I draw a simple example. Right? Simple example to denote this. We'll go to the whiteboard now. Right? We'll take an example in order to discuss this. Diminishing marginal rate of technical substitution. I got a simple one in the earlier example. This is your isoconic curve. Right, Lama? This is your isoconic curve. Assume that this point is K, this point of L. This is the axis of K and L, right? We drew this earlier. Assume that right, this level of points. Right, this is 6, this is 4, this is what we call, can get 40, this is 3. Right. For our easiness, we'll take this as 1. This is as 2.
like this, right? Right. So calculate the MRTS for point A, point B, and point C. What is MRTS for A to B? A to B equal what? 2 divided by 1. That means 2. What is B to C? One divided by 1. That means 1. So you can clearly see a diminishing pattern by going on. Furthermore, to down, you can clearly see a diminishing pattern. Your MRTS is eventually declines, right? That is what is meant by law of diminishing marginal rate of technical substitution. Right? If anyone asks to show the law of diminishing marginal rate of technical substitution, you need to draw this, right? And you need to clearly show that MRTS for different points show us a diminishing pattern. Right? We are coming to the presentation again. That is what is discussed in here. Right? That is what is discussed in here. I think you got a clear understanding on the whiteboard also. So that is about isocont, sorry. Right? That is all about isocont. Then we are coming to the part to talk on the isocost. That means, Ramai, after identifying the production level, that a producer can produce, right? We need to identify the cost available for him before making a decision, right? So in the consumer equilibrium, right, theory of consumer behavior also, we identify find a certain utility level using indifference curve, right? What amount of factors that we are consuming, right, which gives the same utility. But we do not take a decision until we got a budget line, until we take a budget line. Can you remember? We didn't take a decision. Likewise, we are identifying the different levels of outputs or different levels of inputs which generate the same level of output in the producer side. But to take the decisions on the preference or the most appropriate production level, we need to identify the concept of isocost. Right? So simply, isocost is the cost that you are available with, right? Or else it can be described as the cost that you can afford for the production, right? For example, we'll take it as 1,000. 1000 is the amount that you can afford for the production. The amount that you can put into the production is known as ISO cost. Right? That is the simple meaning of ISO cost. The cost that you can bear or the available cost for you. So ISO cost line is the line that shows how your cost or how your available cost is distributed among capital and labor, among inputs. The rupees 1000, think that the capital amount or the capital price is 250. Labor price is 100. Right? You can obtain, if you are more preference or if you do not take a single labor unit, how many capital units that you can obtain? Anyone? How many capital units that you can obtain? කොච්චරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද ළමයි? අපි එක labor unit එකක්වත් ගන්න නැත්නම් අපිට capital unit කොච්චරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? I didn't got you, Danandi. I didn't hear. A bit louder.
250.
Still voice is not here. You tell 250. Is it? No.
4, sir.
Yes, 4. That is because our capital unit costs 250 rupees. රුපියල් 1000යි අපේ production එකට අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් ළමයි. හරිද? මේක මේ simple example එකක් හින්දා 1000 කියලා ගත්තේ නැත්නම් hundreds of millions in production companies. The cost for the production, right? එතකොට අපේ එක capital unit එකක් රුපියල් 250යි නම් අපිට මේ රුපියල් 1000න් ගන්න පුළුවන් capital units 4ක් විතරයි. labor එක unit එකක්වත් ගන්න නැති අවස්ථාවක 4ක් විතරයි. right? එතකොට හිතන්න මෙන්න මේ අවස්ථාවක මෙතන 4යි එතකොට right? මේ අවස්ථාවක අපි එක capital unit එකක්වත් ගන්න නැතුව labor වලට විතරක් මේ රුපියල් 1000 වියදම් කරනවා නම් අපේ labor unit එකක් රුපියල් 100යි නම් අපි units 10ක් ගන්නවා. 10ක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් මෙන්න මේ points දෙක යා කරලා අදින රේඛාව අපි ISO cost line එක කියලා අන්වා ගන්නවා. as same as the budget line ළමයි. budget line එකේදී මොකද කරේ? අපේ ආදායම අපි වෙන් කෙරුවේ මොකටද? x සහ y වලින් මිලදී ගන්න ප්‍රමාණයට. අපේ producer side එකෙන් අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? අපේ තියෙන cost එක, available cost එක මේ දෙක අතර බෙදන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා අපි කතා කරනවා. right ළමයි? is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, anyone? Any other?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That is the simple meaning of ISO cost line, right? ISO cost is a line that represents combination of inputs that will cost the producer same amount of money. The cost is not changing, Lamai, right? The cost for the producer is not changing. That is 1000 rupees, but the combination levels will be changed, right? මෙහෙම line එකක් ඇන්දාම අපිට එක එක points වලදී ගන්න පුළුවන් combination levels change වෙනවා. හැබැයි cost එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. cost එක එකයි. right? Clear, right? එතකොට මේ cost එක අපිට function එකක් විදියට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් අපි identify කරගත්ත cost කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? cost කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? cost කියන්නේ k වලටයි l වලටයි දරන පිරිවැය. එහෙනම් l වලට අපි දරන්නේ මොකද්ද? labor වලට අපි ගෙවන්නේ මොකද්ද? wage multiply by number of L units plus K capital. Capital වලට අපි ගෙවන්නේ මොනවද ළමයි? Rentals. Right? එහෙනම් C is a function of wage multiplied by labor units plus rate multiplied by capital units. That is what is meaning by here. This is wage, this is rental. Right? So that it is very clear, right? It is very clear that cost is a function of wage and rental. Right, ළමයි? අපි අපේ පිරිවැය දරන්නේ wage එකටයි rental එකටයි. wage වලින් අරන් තියෙන amounts ප්‍රමාණයටයි rental වලින් අරන් තියෙන amount ප්‍රමාණය. මං හිතන්නේ ඔයාලට මතක ඇති income එකත් බෙදුනේ කොහොමද කියලා. px වැඩි කරනවා qx වලින් ඒකට එකතු කරනවා py වැඩි කිරීම qy. මිල ප්‍රමාණයෙන් වැඩි කිරීම තමයි income එක බෙදෙන විදිය. ඒ වගේම තමයි cost එකත් වෙන් වෙන්නේ wage එකටයි rental එකටයි. labor units ගාන wage වලින් rental units ගාන capital වලින් එහෙනම් ඒ තමයි වෙනස් වෙන විදිය. right ළමයි? Then slope of the isocost line. What is the slope of the isocost line? Tell me. You no need to look at this. Right? No need to look at this. Tell me by basing on this. අපි කොහොමද slope of isocost line හොයාගන්නේ? Tell me what is the slope of the budget line? Anyone? Slope එක මතකද ළමයි? Budget line එකේ slope එක මේ x මේ y. Tell me. Or otherwise make x, make y. Slope of the budget line is equal px divided by py. මතක නැද්ද? px py. Right? එතකොට slope of the isocost line අපි k units වලින් තියනවා l units වලින් තියනවා. එහෙනම් px කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? x පැත්තේ තියෙන්නේ l. x පැත්තේ තියෙන්නේ l. Price of labor. Y පැත්තේ තියෙන්නේ k. Price of k. Right? PL divided by PK is the what? Slope of the isocost line. So PL means what lamai? What is meaning by PL? Price of labor කියලා අපි අඳුරගන්න මොකද්ද? Wage එක. Price of capital mean rental. එහෙනම් slope of the budget line is denoted by this. It is simple, right? I think you got the point, right? Slope of the budget line is equal to wage divided by rental. Right? Have you got the point, Lamai? I think it is clear, right? It is easy. You have to continuously be with these concepts, right?
දැන් ඔයාලා consumer behavior එකේ concepts ටික අමතක කරලා ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන කතා කරන්න අමාරුයි. එහෙනම් අපි මුලින් ඉඳන් foundation එකක් දාගෙන consumer behavior එකට එහෙම කතා කරන්න. හැබැයි අපි ඒවට වැඩිපුර කාලයක් වැය කරලා ඉගෙනගෙන තමයි දැන් මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. එහෙනම් අපිට මේ කියන දේ එකපාරක් නැත්නම් දෙපාරෙන් grab වෙන්න ඕනේ. right ළමයි? එතකොට intercept එක right intercept එක අපි cost එක බෙදීම R කියලා හඳුනා ගන්නවා. නැත්නම් සම්පූර්ණ cost එක rental වලින් බෙදනවා. නැත්නම් සම්පූර්ණ cost එක wage වලින් බෙදනවා. intercept මෙන්න මේ points intercept වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? right ළමයි? එතකොට රුපියල් 1000ක cost එක rental වලින් බෙදපුවම 1000 බෙදීම 250 මෙතන 4යි. 1000 බෙදීම 10 1000 බෙදීම 100 මෙතන 10යි. So intercept is C divided by R or W. Most important thing is the slope of the O, identifying this one and identifying this one. Right? So this is the isocost line as I drawn in the previous one. So how a shift is happen in isocost? Right? Isocost line එකක් shift වෙන්නේ ළමයි කොහොමද? අපිට වැඩිපුර cost එකක් දැරිය හැකි නම් right රුපියල් 1000 වෙනුවට 1500ක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. අපි isocost එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් දකුණට විතැන් වෙනවා. right so විතැන්වීම සහ එකාක්ෂයකින් වෙනස් වීම කියලා කියන්නේ concept දෙකක්. විතැන් වෙන්නේ අපේ total cost එක වෙනස් වුණොත් විතරයි. right හැබැයි එකාක්ෂයකින් යනවා මොකද මොන වගේ දේවල් වුණාමද? can anyone tell? L පැත්තෙන් දකුණට විතැන් වෙනවා. කියන්න බලන්න ළමයි කවුරු හරි දන්න කෙනෙක් concept මතක කෙනෙක්. ඇයි මෙහෙම එක අක්ෂයකින් විතරක් යන්නේ? anyone? ඇයි එක අක්ෂයකින් විතරක් දකුණට විතැන් වෙන්නේ? මොන වගේ අවස්ථාවලද?
Labor cost is decrease.
Yes, exactly. Very good. Labor cost එක decrease වුණාම එතකොට ඔයාලට හිතෙයි right මේක ඊළඟ picture එක තියෙනවා ළමයි graph එක තියෙනවා ඊළඟ slide එකේ මේක විතරක් බලා ගන්න. ඔයාලට හිතෙයි මෙතන ළමයි in color එක වෙනස් කරමු අපි purple වලට. ඔයාලට හිතෙයි ළමයි මෙතන cost එකට වඩා මෙතන cost එක වැඩි නේ කියලා. නෑ මේ අපි කතා කරන්නේ units ගාන මේ පැත්තේ. cost එක මේ මැද තමා තියෙන්නේ. right ඒ කියලා කියන්නේ cost එක බෙදිලා තියෙන විදිය තමයි තියෙන්නේ මේ තියෙන units ගාන. එතකොට labor එකේ cost එක අඩු වුණාම අපි හිතමු 100 තිබ්බ එක මෙතන දැන් 50යි. එහෙනම් මෙතන තිබ්බේ 10යි. අපිට මෙතන 20 දක්වා වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද labor එකේ cost එක අඩු වෙලා නිසා. right ළමයි? එතකොට the thing that you need to identify is that the shift of a isocost line occurs due to the increasing of the cost. Right? Increasing of the total cost. A movement of the shift from one side occurs due to the price change. Right? Due to a price change of a certain input, sorry. Right? Input එකක මෙතන 10 තිබිලා මෙතන 20 වෙනවා. right? Input එකක cost එකේ නැත්තම් input එකක මිලෙහි වෙනස් වීමක් වුණොත් විතරයි එක පැත්තකින් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ. right?
in there the intercept will be changed. Right? These two concepts are okay. I think okay. Right? So how you are going to take a producer equilibrium? Right? How you are going to take a producer equilibrium? Up to now, we have another two concepts to discuss. Right? Another two concepts to discuss. Those are producer equilibrium in long run. How we have taken a producer equilibrium, and sorry, the production expansion part. මම මේවා කතා කරා ළමයි අර outline එකේ පැහැදිලි කරද්දි මම මේවා කතා කරා. අපි විනාඩි 10ක වගේ කාලයක් තියෙනවා අපිට. අපි කතා කරලා අවසන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් producer equilibrium in long run. Right? Producer equilibrium in long run is the place where isocost curve is tangent to the isocon curve. In the place where producer equilibrium is tangent to isocon curve is tangent to isocost curve, we identify the producer equilibrium. If we denote it by basing on a graph, right? In long run, producer equilibrium, right? Denote this as this is Q1, Q2, Q3, right? This point is A. This point is B, right? This point of C. This is point D. I'll mark the points, right? I'll mark the points in a separate color. This is point A, B. This is point A, sorry, C. This is point A. This is point D. Right, Lamai? So, what is the optimum point? A, B, C, O, D. Tell me. A, B, C, O, D. Tell me what අපිට consume කරන්න පුළුවන් දැන් මේ isocons concurve තුනක් තියෙනවා, right? අපිට consume කරන්න පුළුවන් points කියන්න බලන්න ළමයි. අපිට consume කරන්න පුළුවන් points. Tell me.
ABC.
A. Yes. What about
BC.
B? Yes.
B, C.
C. What about D, Lamai? What about D?
Can't.
Yes, we can't. We can't consider. So out of these three, what gives the maximum level of output, higher level of output? It is the place C. Right, Lama? It is the point C. That is because in the point C, your cost equals to the production level or the output level. So we identified C is the optimum level of output by basing on the cost and the production. So producer equilibrium shows the place where ISO cost curve is tangent to ISO con curve. Right? I think you got the point. Right, Lamai? So in there, right, in there, if I go again to the whiteboard, in there, right, these are separated, right? Sorry. These are separated, right? Right. This is a explanation which we done earlier. I didn't erase it since you need some, if you need to take notes or something, right? So in the place where we take the producer equilibrium, slope of the isocont is equal to the slope of isocost. Right? Slope of the isocont means MPL divided by MPK. We learned it. Right? Slope of the isocost is the difference between wage and rental. Right, Lamai? So it is clear that, right? It is clear that this, when in the place where we take the producer equilibrium, slope of the isocost curve equals to the slope of isocont curve. So the optimum conditions for producer equilibrium in the long run is that the slope of the isocont must be equal to the slope of isocont curve. Right? That is the optimum condition that we need to derive in the long run. Right? It is clear, it is mentioned in here. Right? When we take this into separate sides, we can denote the optimum condition like this also. Marginal productivity of labor divided by wage equals to marginal productivity of capital divided by rental. Right? So in the place where isoconcave tangent to isocost line gives the producer equilibrium. Right? Then production expansion part. A small topic we'll discuss about another 2 to 3 minutes. Right? So the increasing of the inputs level, right? Increasing of the inputs level means the increasing of the cost. තමයි අපිට වැඩි නිෂ්පාදනයක් කරගන්න අවශ්‍යයි නම්, right? අපිට වැඩි පිරිවැයක් දරන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. මෙන්න මේ කියන CO line එක. Right? CO line එක තමයි අපිට තිබ්බ කලින් cost line එක. හැබැයි අපිට output එක වැඩි කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් අපිට inputs වැඩි කරගන්න වෙනවා. එහෙනම් අපිට ඒ වෙනුවෙන් දරන්න ඕන පිරිවැයත් වැඩි වෙනවා. right? අපේ ISO cost line එක දකුණට විතැන් වෙනවා. එතකොට අපිට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තිබ්බ output level එක මේක. හැබැයි දැන් ඊට වඩා ලොකු output එකක්, වැඩි output එකක් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි හිතුවොත් තවදුරටත් අපේ production එක expand කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි. අපි වැඩිපුර cost එකක් දානවා. ඒ වගේම අපිට වැඩිපුර output එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. එහෙනම් මෙන්න මේ different levels of costs වල නැත්නම් different levels of inputs වැඩි කරන levels වල හැදෙන isocont curve නැත්නම් production curve එකට යා කරලා අඳින රේඛාව අපි production expansion path එකක් කියලා හඳුනා ගන්නවා. right? මෙන්න මේ එක stage වල නැත්නම් costs වෙනස් කරන අවස්ථාවල අපිට හම්බෙන production equilibrium එකට එකතු කරලා අනින රේඛාව අපි production expansion path කියලා අඳුනා ගන්නවා. sorry. right? තේරුණාද? It is a simple thing to be understand. Once we increase the input levels, cost is increasing. That is the only way to increase the input levels. Inputs level වැඩි වෙන්නේ cost එක වැඩි කරපුවාම නැත්නම් price of the input අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි මේකෙදි cost එක වැඩි කිරීම ගැන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. And meantime new output levels can be achieved. ඒ අතරතුරම ඒ අදාළ වැඩි වුණ cost එකේදී අලුත් output level එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක Q1, Q2, Q3 කියලා ගන්නවා. right? The line drawn through different equilibriums. මේ වගේ lines අපි draw කරන්නේ ළමයි එක වෙන තැන් cross උනේ ඒවා නෙමෙයි. අපේ producer equilibrium එක ගත්ත තැන. right? එහෙනම් production expansion path එක මෙන්න මේ different types of equilibrium හරහා ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට නිෂ්පාදකයේ තමන්ගේ එක තමයි production expansion path එක. ළමයි, can you hear me what I'm ළමයි, hello?
Yes, sir.
okay, I just received call, that's why. මේක තමයි production expansion path එක කියලා අපි හඳුනා ගන්න. right? So that is it. That is it for today's. So is there anything to be asked, or we'll wind up the session? I take 6 minutes from you. Tell me. Anything to be asked? Is the everything is clear? Right, then thank you very much for joining. We'll meet on next Friday. Hopefully we have 2.5 hours. We can cover up some more topics on the long run. Right? Thank you very much then.
Thank you, sir.